Lisa,
Yes, baby girl.
when I grow up, I want to be a womanist to society.
Then so shall you be.
Hey, this is Lisa Landry. Welcome back to A Menace to Society. I'm thrilled to speak with this week's guest. He's a friend of mine, a very talented friend of mine. Please welcome to the podcast, Rich Prang.
Hey, Lisa, nice to hear from you.
It's a pleasure to hear from you. I always enjoy speaking with you. I don't typically have comedians on the podcast, but you are a comedian as well as a man of many talents. And I'm really happy that you would come and share your story because I met you years ago and you were a newer comedian then. You've become a really super talented comedian. I know you work really hard and you got a lot of talent, but you also have a backstory that I was unaware of.
Yeah, I was born with a birth defect that affected my appearance of my face and my head. And I always had a sense of humor that I used to either to lighten the mood or to make friends. And a lot of improv to kind of change the way somebody might be looking at me. So I would do a little improv to kind of change their opinion towards, hey, this guy is likable.
You're very likable, and I always knew that you have a face that's different than most people's faces, but I never knew exactly why.
Yeah, it's a rare syndrome where basically when I was born, either the sutures or the bones, and this is how I understood it, they wouldn't grow when I was a baby. So when your head and your face don't grow, then the brain and everything inside runs the risk of being suffocated or crushed. So my prognosis was either I would either be severely handicapped or not make it, not live. And so they had to do about 20 different surgeries over periods of time, most of them done while I was a small child, to give the brain and the internal organs room to grow and expand. But as you do that, then your facial features and your head features, they don't look like quote unquote normal. So you look quite a bit different.
Well, there's got to be a distortion, right, from the pressure and the gravity, I would imagine, for lack of better
Yeah,
medical terms.
There's a lot of I would have like kind of like an enlarged head. It looked like the dome of my head was a little large. My face was a little more sunken in back then, and so it changed my appearance. With that came a lot of social judgments and whatnot.
I can only imagine because I know years ago you and I went bowling with another friend, and my son joined us in Phoenix.
Yeah.
And I was really embarrassed because my child, he was a little boy. I think he might have been 7. And he looked at you and he got really scared and he said, "Mommy, look at his face."
Oh, okay. I didn't realize that.
Well, no, it was horrible. I'm glad you didn't overhear it. I was mortified. And, we had a little talk there at the bowling alley and we had another talk on the ride home. My son wasn't doing it to hurt you. It was a very
Right.
honest reaction. But what is that like? Because you are a human being and children are very direct and unkind sometimes in their communication.
Right. Well, with the kids, a lot of the times, it's not understanding. And when I was growing up, a lot of it was just not understanding, but over a short period of time, they just kind of, I don't want to say they warm up to you, but they just accept you. You're here, you exist, whatever, and then as more kids kind of you attract, then the better it gets. And then coincidentally with that, I also had kids growing up who had my back. So as soon as they heard some other kid who didn't know me, they would put them in their place. So it's kind of like both, and it's just kind of learning and understanding. It's just when you hit that middle school, high school age, that's where it becomes more hurtful, because then that's where it becomes less I don't understand versus it becomes hurtful.
Yeah.
It becomes more direct.
Yeah, I can imagine it becomes more aggressive when the hormones hit and people, people become more reactionary, I would imagine, in high school.
Yeah, well, there would be some that were hurtful, but then it just kind of became also with my situation, and I've heard other people's situations are different. My situation just kind of becomes like I was left behind. Like, oh, we grew up since we were elementary kids, and suddenly you don't even say hi to me. You know what I mean?
That's awful.
Yeah, but then the hindsight to all that too is you learn to become even more independent. But I've heard other people with different birth defects where people were just downright cruel to them. I have a friend who every day in high school she sat alone by herself at lunch.
That's just heartbreaking. That's heartbreaking.
She's a girl.
Yeah.
She's a girl, so you know how women are, girls. But she's doing great today. Life's good for her right now. She just had a baby, and he's an awesome person who rallies other people and kids who have birth defects.
Well, that's great. I'm glad she's at least able to do that and has a new baby. That's awesome. But that's a lot of pain to suffer through. Do you think that isolation informs some of your comedy?
It does. It does. One of the things you have to realize about people that have a birth defect that affects their appearance is we know that we look different. You don't have to remind us. And sometimes with that, like me, I have a sense of humor. I can make humor from that. Kind of like an uncle who's overweight. They're like, oh, I'm overweight, and I don't know if you can hear the floorboards crack. You know what I mean? So it's like I can make fun, humor out of the way I look, but I don't in a way that was empowering, because I was in control of it, and I could yank it in any direction I wanted. So I was in control of it instead of other people being in control of it.
So it's empowering.
My struggle also was, because of the way I looked. In the beginning, I had to give people permission to laugh at my jokes. It's kind of crazy to think that I would walk up on stage and not expect to be laughed at, sort of, or laughed with. But I still had to give permission to give people a chance to laugh. So I would make a joke open my set about the way I look. People would die laughing, and then the rest of the set would go well, because they felt like, oh, okay, he's making fun of the way, or he's joking about the way he looks. We can all laugh at his jokes now, which is kind of crazy when you think of it. But yeah, so I have no problem joking about, that. But at the same time, I don't want to make my whole set about the way I looked or had grown up with a birth defect.
Oh yeah, and you don't. You're not one note at all. I think you're really fun to watch. I really enjoy your comedy up there. And you also have a very interesting day job.
I do. I am a news photographer. Typically a multimedia journalist. So I shoot, write, edit, and record news stories, mostly features and general stories. And I just don't go on TV. I give that to the other people. I write their script and they do it. But yeah, I do a lot of stories on interesting people.
And I saw the clips on you, and I would urge people to please check them out. You can find them. Where do we find the clips of you? I know you were interviewed talking about your surgeries.
Well, I'm getting ready to post it on my Rich Prange Comedy Facebook page, and that's where people can see it. kind of like what I went through growing up, but it was a preview to, and I ended up having what I call my final surgery. About 20-some years ago, my doctor had said, surgeon had said, nothing more I can do for you at this time. And, that's just how it goes. That was 20-some years ago. But I always knew that medicine changes and gets improved upon as years go on. So 20-plus years later, I found a surgeon. It's like, yeah, I can do something for you. And so it was kind of like my eyebrow at the time was very highly elevated, as you probably remember.
Mm-hmm.
It wasn't the bones that were uneven or non-symmetrical. It was the skin and the soft tissue, the way they ended up falling. So I ended up seeing this doctor, the surgeon, who was able to lower it, and my eyebrows are now more symmetrical than they've ever been.
You look fantastic. When are those clips going to be up? Because I found them to be so inspiring.
Hopefully I maybe get them up this weekend or early week or by Monday.
So by the time this podcast airs or goes live, in theory, they will be there. How do we find you? Can you spell out your name for everybody? Because you don't have an easy last name, bro.
No, I don't. It's a German name with silent letters. It's R-I-C-H, P as in Peter, R-A-N-G-E, Rich Prange Comedy. It's a Facebook page.
And those clips are really terrific. Your parents are involved in the production, and your parents' story moved me as well. Because like I said, I always knew there was something different about you, but I didn't know what it was. I know that you talk about it on stage, and off stage you're very comfortable as well. But I had no idea that you had gone through so much at such a young age to get to where you are.
Yeah, but a lot of it is I had strong parents, and they never let me feel like I couldn't do anything or try something. And they never tried to bury me into the shadows. Let's pretend he doesn't exist type of thing. So they always pushed me out with the rest of the kids. But with that, they never promised it and said, oh, hey, you're just as good as somebody else at this certain skill level. They never tried to give me this false illusion of I'm the greatest kid in the world. No, they're like, you have the opportunity to work at it. Here's your opportunity. So you just have to work just as hard, if not harder. But they were always in my corner, and they never put me in the shadows. They never said I couldn't do something or try something. And they were, they were pretty, while they were protective of me against other people, they were also tough on me to make the best out of who I could be and reach my potential.
Okay, so let's talk about you reaching potential there for just a hot moment. You're an Emmy winner. You have an Emmy.
I am. I won an Emmy about 13 years ago, and coincidentally, it was on a story about a lot of some Marines who had come back from serving in Iraq and Afghanistan who were suffering from PTSD. And it was a unique story the way we were able to produce it. And I thought, well, this is a unique way that I hadn't seen the story told this way. And we entered an Emmy, and we ended up winning. But what was cool about it, it actually started my journey to that final surgery I was talking about, because these Marines we were talking to had severe spatial injuries. And some of their recovery, I was like, that's pretty impressive. I should go check and see if there's something that can be done for me. So while I won the Emmy with a producer and our anchor, it also kind of started me on a new path towards that eventual surgery I ended up having about 3 years ago.
It's all interconnected.
I know, it's weird how the universe works, right?
Yeah, it is. But I'm glad it's working.
I'm single, so if any ladies out there want to give me cups, give me a shout out.
Thank you so much for coming and being a guest, Rich. I really have a lot of respect for you. And like I said, I didn't know that your struggle was so intense. And so I have a new appreciation for you. And I really do hope that people in the Phoenix area, especially, will check Rich out on stage. He appears all over. Yeah, Rich?
Yeah, I try to. Yes, I do.
So,
Whoever will let me get stage.
so find Rich on Facebook and support him live if you can. And Rich, I hope to run into you. I'll be in Glendale in October and November over at Stir Crazy. So I hope to see you while I'm in town.
Yeah, I'll give you the heads up on those dates.
I will do that. Thank you very much.
All right, we'll talk to you later.
Thanks so much for listening, y'all. And thanks so much for being my guest, Rich. I just adore that guy. He is fantastic. Please do join Rich at his Facebook page and find me at lisalandry.com. If you sign up for my YouTube channel, and you should because it's free, don't cost you nothing, you can get new videos that'll be coming out soon. There's some newer ones up now. And I'm also going to be putting out each new podcast, typically on Wednesday, sometime on Thursdays. Shout out, Ari. I love you so much. Remember we went bowling with Rich? That was a good time. We should go bowling again someday.